Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Today we have some new XCs cards, if I recall correctly. Yeah, we have the new Zell Servant, some Utopia support, and a Lyrilusc support card. Okay, so let's get to it. ZS Utopic Sage, rank 4, obviously. So for masters, detach 2 materials, special summon 1 Zell weapon or servant from your deck. Also for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck, except Xyz monsters, nor attack except with number monsters. You can only use the effect once per turn. If a Utopia and/or Utopic Xyz you control whose origin attribute is light, other than this one, will be destroyed by battle card effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard instead. Okay. Right, so let's see the script. Scripted by Eerie. Vibe limit procedure is generic procedure. And then the first effect is the one that special summons from the deck. Special summon ignition. It does not target, so we don't need this. Okay, it's hard once per turn. And then the costs. Okay, let's move to the functions. Cost should be detached 2. Detached 2, so that's fine. Target function. Okay, checks if you have an empty monster zone. And checks if there is an SP filter card in your deck. This is Zell weapon, this is Zell servant, and it's can be special summoned. Yep. Operation if a special summon deck, seems fine. And then the operation. Okay, registers the cannot special summon restriction. SP this turn, SP limit should be cannot special summon for the X deck except Xyz monsters. So you cannot special summon stuff that's not Xyz and is in the extra deck. And then you cannot attack with stuff that is not numbers. No attack except with number monsters, so that seems correct as well. Reset end phase. Okay. Client hint. That's for the whatchamacallit, so that is if you hover over the player name on the top left or on the top right, wherever you are, you'll see the string that says affected by Utopic Sage, cannot spell summon, blah 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 blah. And then if there's no zone stop, otherwise you pick a Zell weapon or servant from your deck, special summon it, and boom, that's the effect. So that seems fine. Yeah. So moving on to the other effect is the protection. If a Utopia would banish instead, yeah. Field continues, destroy, replace, grave M zone, and then the functions, let's see. Is able to remove. EGs exists a filter, and the filter says face up, Utopia, so both Utopia and Utopic. Xyz, get origin attribute light, except Utopic Sage himself is in your master zone, is in your master zone, is in the master zone, it's under your control. Not to on replace, and it's based on effect of battle, destroyed by battle or card effect. Okay, select the effect yes no if you want to use the effect or not. And then remove this face up, based on effect for the replacement. Okay, so this seems fine. Let's test it real quick and see if it is actually fine. So what do we need? We need 2 level 4 monsters, so put on Thrasher and Werewolf, I suppose. And then we need a Zell weapon and a Zell servant in the deck. Special summon with a first effect. And the restriction. Can special summon except Xyz monsters. Disaster Confit. Lyrilusc. And then the attacking thing, we need to summon a number somehow. Should be able to rank him up, right? Utopia. No, he's not Utopia. Hyper rank. And now lower Utopia. I can't know. This is a utopic. How would you go to a number from this? Maybe I could do right, let's do Team Goldfish, and Goldfish can summon Werewolf, and then along with the level 4 servant, I'm gonna do a regular Utopia. That's gonna be the number monster. Okay, yeah, and then the protection. What do we need for the protection? Utopia and or Utopic, which is to be light, so either of these two, except for this guy obviously, because it'll accept Sage. Will be destroyed by battle or card effect, banish scuff from your field or create instead, so we just need a like offerings to the doomed or something. Yeah. And that should be good enough. For a shuffle. Let's go. Okay, so special summon this first. Normal summon Goldfish. Special summon Werewolf. And now I'm gonna make Sage. Activate the effect. Detach 2. Okay, I can special summon either. Let's go for the level 4. And now, okay, the string is pointing to the wrong string. It should be 2. Now I should not be able to summon except Xyz monsters, so I cannot summon Lyrilusc. Oops. I can summon Utopia. And now only Utopia should be able to attack. Okay, correct. And then, if Utopia is about to be destroyed, I can banish this instead. Yes, banish, boom, okay, nice. And make sure the string works. There we go, okay. Cast for summon of next except Xyz monsters, no attacks with number monsters. Okay. It's a little long, but well, what you gonna do? Anyway, so he's done. And he seems to be working fine. I didn't want to remove Dryer Drake. Okay. Then let's move on to the next card, which is the trap card. The continuous trap card, I mean. Contract of Destiny. Okay. Continuous trap. Each time a card you control is destroyed by battle effect, place one Emperor's key counter on this card, match 1. If your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, you can remove 1 counter from this card, send 1 Door of Destiny from your hand deck or face up field to graveyard, And if you do, spell summon a light Utopia or Utopic Exceed from your extra deck. And if you do that, attach this card with this material, it's still as Exceed summon, and you can only use the favor per turn. Alright, so again, Eerie, this is the counter. Activation, continues, destroy, defense, build trap zone, counter, so this should place the counter itself. Okay, so what's this? Previous location on field, previous controller TP, previous on battle or effect. So each time a card you control is destroyed by battle or effect. So city is the amount of cards that were destroyed in this last instance, in this last destroyed event, that were on your field and they were destroyed by battle or effect. And if there's at least one, then place a counter on this card. That's about it. And then the Exceed summoning. Let's see. If your opponent's spell summons a monster from the extra deck, remove a counter, send one, and then summon. So category to grave, that's correct. Category spell summon, that's correct. Spell summon success, fail to trigger O, location is zones, hard ones per turn. Delay, so it doesn't miss timing, because it says if your opponent spell summons. And then let's go down to the functions. So this is if your opponent spell summons from the extra deck. So the reason player is the opponent. And DGs exist, SP filter. Mr. P is summon player the opponent. I'm not sure this is needed here, but anyway. Summon player is the opponent, and it was from the extra deck. It was previous location was in the extra deck. There's also a function that's called summon location though. Summon block. This makes more sense in this case. So your opponent spell summons a monster from the extra deck. Cost should be to remove the counter. He's gonna remove counter, yep. And then, as part of the effect, you need to send the door to the graveyard, and then special summon so we need to check both. Is existing matching card, graveyard filter, location hand, deck on field, passes ENTP to it. This must be the code of the door, and sees face up or not on field, and is able to grave. This is for the door, and is existing matching card SP filter. Location extra, ETPC passes the door, probably because I was looking at the contract destiny card. Right, so yeah, okay, so this is the door, and checks something in your extra deck. It's a Utopia, attribute light. You just spell someone light Utopia or Utopic, yeah. Type Exceeds, you have room. And using the door here as a possible material because if the door is face up on the field, you're gonna send to graveyard and empty out a monster zone, so yeah, that's correct. Can we spell someone type Exceeds? Okay, seems fine. Operation info to grave from hand deck or field. Spell someone from the extra deck. Seems okay. Discord just opened up. One moment. Okay. Right. So what does it do here? If no related effects stop. Okay. Select what you want to send to the graveyard. Send to the graveyard. And if you do, if it's in the graveyard, select what you want to special summon. And if you pick something, special summon it, summon type Xyz. Then attach this card to it as material. Hit handler. Okay, let's try it out. We need our stuff to be destroyed, and then we need the opponent to summon something from the extra deck, and then we need the door. So let's start with Dark Hole. Dark Hole. Zester and Linkuriba is gonna be our extra deck summon. And then we need a Door of Destiny. And then we need a light Utopia or Utopic. Actually, the Sage guy works. Utopic Sage. And boom, so now we need an opponent. Don't shuffle. Okay, so we are going to set this card first. Okay, so we need to flip it up and then destroy our monster. Here's a counter. It's still question marks because I forgot to add the name of the counter in the strings, but I'm gonna do it afterwards. No problem. And now we need the opponent to summon something to extra deck, so we're gonna summon the Linkuriba. Okay. Remove. Okay, for some reason I can pick anything. The filter name must be wrong with me. Let's see. Oh yeah. GY Fiddler instead of GY Filter. Small typo. And I just realized I can speed this up by doing this. And then Dark Hole. Special summon the Linkuriba now. Yes. Okay. Door goes to the graveyard. And then we see summon Utopic Sage and attach this as material. And boom. Seems fine. Okay. Card once per turn. Okay, yeah. Let's fix up the other a little bit here. Okay, so this card is also done. So we can move on to the last number trap card. Numbers Protect. Counter Trap. This is the Infinity Barrier if I recall correctly. When a spell trap or a monster phase activate while you control a number exceeds monster, negate activation, you destroy the card. Yep, it's the Infinity Barrier. If a number exceeds monster you control, destroyed by battle card effect while this card is in your graveyard. You can set this card by banishing when it leaves the field. You can only use one effect per turn, and only once that turn. So, simple enough. We just need a number exceeds. Utopia. Goldfish. And then double Dark Hole. One for the negation and one for the graded effect. But let's take the scripts first. Script by header. Negate, destroy, activate, chaining, hard per turn. Same count limit here, so because it says you can only use one effect per turn only once a turn, we need to use the same count limit here and here, so both effects are under the same count limit, basically. Functions. Is existing matching card in your master zone. Face up, number exceeds. Chain is negatable. And it is a monster or type activate, which means that it's the activation of a spell card or activation of a trap card. NegTG, return true. Category negate operation info. If it's destructible and related, destroy. This is all copy pasted probably. Negate activation. And if the handler of the activation of the effect in which you negated is still related to this, to its own effect, then you destroy it. So like if Ash Blossom, the Ash Blossom discards itself as the cost, then the Ash Blossom in the graveyard is not the same one that activates the effect in the hand. So what this check makes it so it doesn't proceed past this point because it's not the same copy of the card. Now, in the case of Ash Blossom and the graveyard, it doesn't matter because it cannot be destroyed in the graveyard. But this matters for stuff like invoked Mechaba. So the Ash Blossom you discarded doesn't get banished by Mechaba because it's not the Ash Blossom that activated the effect in the hand. So yeah, that's why this check is here. And then the set effect, filter gear O, delay damage step. If a number exceeds, you control stop a battle card effect, so event destroyed. Grave, set con, edges exist, set filter, is previous controller TP, previous location master zone, number exceeds, previous on battle effect, you get handler is settable, oops. Category live grave, we can handle that's for Necro Valley. And then if it's electric effect accessible, set it. And then banish it when it leaves the field. Seems fine. Now one small detail I want to add here is not EG is contains EG handler. Let's see. So if this card is destroyed at the same time as one of your number exceed monsters, it should not trigger. That's why that's here. Okay, so let's test it. So first we need to summon the Utopia. Set this down. And then we should be able to negate the Dark Hole. Okay. And then I'm gonna use Dark Hole to destroy Utopia, and I should be able to set it back. Okay. Works like a charm. So this one's done as well. Now we can move on to the Lyrilusc one, and then we're done for the day. So yeah, let's go. Lyrilusc, Bird Strike, normal spell. I think this was an anime card. Bird Strike. Yeah, there's an anime version, which seems to be relatively close. The effect. Anyway, normal spell. If you control a Lyrilusc monster, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn, and you can only activate one per turn. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's good biological, disable, type activate, free chain, once per turn with you can only activate once flag. Some fancy looking functions here. Condition. Is existing matching card, filter face up, is set card. This should be a Lyrilusc. your master zone. Okay. And then target. If check is 0, return. Is it this magic card? Does filter 1 on the opponent's master, so you check that the opponent has something that can be negated, that can have its effects negated. And then activate, which is the operation. And what does this do? Get matching group, this filter 1. Okay, shame zone. Okay, so G is the group with all monsters your opponent controls that can have their effects negated. And for each monster, register disable effect on it. Event standard, phase end. So that's fine. Yep, and seems fine. Technically this is better, but very technically. Anyway, so let's try it out. This should be simple enough. Just need a Lyrilusc, and just need the opponent to have a monster. And it should be good to go. So now I cannot use it yet. If the opponent gets a monster, I still cannot use it. Okay, and then when I normal summon Wagtail, I can use it, activate, negate, and at the end of the turn it stops being negated. Boom, there you go. I mean, it's a pretty simple card. I was expecting it to work perfectly from the get-go, to be honest. So yeah.